Hello, everyone. Congresswoman Cindy Axne here, proud representative for Iowa's 3rd Congressional District that covers 16 counties in central and southwest Iowa, from Des Moines and Polk County all the way out to Council Bluffs and to our border with Nebraska. Thank you so much to the Business Record for inviting me to their Fearless Friday series to talk a little bit about my own experience on being a woman in politics and what challenges I see ahead for women in this arena. For those of you who don't know me, let me start by giving you a bit of background on how I got here. I'm a 5th-generation Iowan, growing up on the south side of Des Moines and later West Des Moines, and I spent a lot of summers on my family's farm in Warren County. My parents raised me and my sisters to speak our minds and not be afraid to take on tough fights, even when it was uncomfortable. And I took those lessons to heart. It's carried me all the way to the halls of Congress. After graduating from Valley High School, I attended the University of Iowa and then earned my MBA from Kellogg Graduate School at Northwestern. In 2005, I started working at the state of Iowa, where I worked for nearly a decade to help over 20 different state agencies deliver government services more effectively and efficiently for Iowa's taxpayers. I own my own small business with my husband, and we have 2 teenage boys, one in high school and one who just started college this fall. 4 years ago, I made one of the biggest decisions of my life in deciding to run for the United States Congress. I made that decision to run because I believed that our representatives in Washington weren't standing up for our values and were voting against our interests. In 2017, Congress was voting to strip away Iowans' health care and give tax breaks to big corporations and the ultra-wealthy. And so, just as my parents taught me, I took on the tough fight, running against a 2-term incumbent and won, becoming one of the first 2 women ever elected to the House from Iowa. So many people have asked me what it felt like to be first, to break the glass ceiling in Iowa and become part of the history books. And my first reply to them is usually, sure took us long enough. To think that only 7 years ago, Iowa had never sent a woman to Congress or had a female governor. To be serving alongside a majority female delegation makes me feel more like saying, you know what, it's about time. My first year in Congress, 2019, coincided with the 100-year anniversary of Congress, passing the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. It took 100 years to send a woman to Congress from Iowa. So my feeling is, if it takes us 100 years to do it, any celebration on our achievement should be accompanied by a very serious reflection on why it took us so long. I've now seen firsthand some reasons why it's taken us this long, why we still don't have a Congress that reflects the gender balance of this great nation. When I first decided to run for Congress, my first attempt at any sort of elected office, I saw the unfair standards that women in politics face really on display. I've worked with Fortune 1000 companies. I have a decade of experience working in state government. I own my own small business, and still, I was asked if this was really what I wanted to do with my career. People who probably believed that they are progressive thinkers suggested that maybe I should try city council or school board, even though I had a resume that people wouldn't blink twice at if I was a man. And as I ran for office, and even when I was elected, I saw the double standards still in play. What I wore, how I sounded, it was all under a microscope, and it took me that much more time every day to just ensure that I was going to be seen as an equal to my male counterparts. Even in our successes, there is clear demonstrations of work to be done. In 2018, America sent a record number of Democratic women to Congress, and I was so excited to work with my new colleagues, women of all different backgrounds, from all across the country. But still, national media latched on to one predictable narrative that cliques of congresswomen and who was hanging out with who. It won't surprise anyone to know that I have disagreements with some of my colleagues from the coast on what policies are most important for us to pursue. But to see headlines that pit the Squad against Speaker Pelosi or Midwest women against friends of mine from other parts of the country, well, that's where sexism still shows through in our politics. But I don't let that discourage me, because I know that getting us away from these persistent narratives about women being too emotional or too overextended to have careers in politics is possible. And the best way to break down these assumptions is to do the work, do it well, and deliver for the constituents that I serve. It may surprise you to learn that I'm not someone who believes that any woman is always the better choice for elected office just because they're women. Certainly, the women that I serve with have a wide range of viewpoints, as do my male colleagues, and some I disagree with very strongly. But in my experience, women serving in public office often possess the critical empathy on issues that would help families and that we have to remain focused on. I know the importance of equal pay for equal work because I've worked the jobs that need those protections. I know the importance of worker protections for pregnant women because I've been there in their shoes. I know how essential childcare is to a healthy economy because I relied on childcare for my two boys. And these are just a few of the issues that I focused on in my first term and will continue to focus on as I serve Iowa's 3rd District again in this new Congress. I hope that when our next generation of women begin to run for office, there are no glass ceilings left. I hope they can run on their merits, their intelligence, and their records without the skepticism that comes with attempting to be first. But I hope they don't lose sight of the women who are breaking those ceilings now. I hope the image of Vice President Kamala Harris raising her right hand stays with them, just as the stories of trailblazing women like Jeanette Rankin, Shirley Chisholm, and Eleanor Roosevelt and others have stuck with me. We stand on their shoulders, and we have to be able to see where we've come from to appreciate where we are now and to know where we need to go. My hope is that women one day aren't told that they are fearless for chasing any job they want, while still knowing that it wasn't always that way. In that world, women will wield the empathy and wisdom necessary to help others without the barriers of a judgmental world to stop them. We aren't there yet, but I'm proud to be part of the journey that gets us there. Thank you all. Stay safe and be well.